We all had like an and I moment.
It's my maestro on the beat, baby.
Hi guys, it's been a week, but you know, I'm back with another video. Today I wanted to do a story time on how I went to the Ellen show back in 2013. Yeah, it's been a really long time, so yeah, let's get into it. So the story starts when my friend Pink applied for tickets to the Ellen show. As anyone who knows, applying to the Ellen show is super hard in securing tickets, so their schedule is always booked in advance, but lucky enough, Pink got tickets to the riff-raff room. And the riff-raff room is basically like a wait list for people that if you didn't get into the audience, you can still sit in the riff-raff room where they have merch, they sell mugs and t-shirts, and you can watch the show from in there. To still get any kind of ticket is very lucky, and I was super surprised when Pink told me that she secured some. At first she invited 3 friends, but I wasn't included in that group. Luckily, one of the friends dipped out. She had a midterm, so Pink asked me, and of course I said yes. So it was me, Pink, we'll call the other 2 friends Blue and Tapatio. We'll call her Tapatio because you'll see why, because she was hot and spicy and heated for no reason. Pink invited Blue, Tapatio, and I to her house. We slept over so we can get to the check-in for the Ellen show on time the day after. We had to check into the Ellen show at 8 a.m. just to secure our spot, show our ID, all that good stuff, and then go about our day. So 8 a.m. we checked in, and then we decided, you know what, we're kind of hungry for breakfast. We didn't really eat. We woke up early just to get there on time. We went out for breakfast and then came back at 3:30 p.m. for the show, because if you guys live in California, you guys know Ellen comes on at 4 p.m. So we had to be in line by 3:30 to get in on time. Otherwise we would have been rejected. 3:30, we're back in line, ready to see the show, and Pink and I were really close at the time. I don't really talk to her anymore, but at the time, Pink and I were super close because we knew each other in high school, and then now we were going to the same college, so we were always loud and rowdy and just always having fun by ourselves. And on this particular day of the show, one of the producers noticed us just because we were being super lively and energetic, and that's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for on Ellen. Even though I'm super mellow right now, because in the audience you have to be super lively, you have to be interactive. Like, that's what makes the show. That's what makes Ellen Ellen. It's all about the audience. So we're super loud, and she came over to our group and she asked us what our names were. We told her, not thinking anything of it, because we already knew we were gonna sit in the riff-raff room, you know. Fast forward, Showtime comes on. Everybody has to get in line so we can get into the building. This is like in Universal Studios Burbank, if you guys are familiar with the area. So we get in line. The producer leads us. I'm behind her. We all get into the building. We get into the riff-raff room, just waiting to sit down. Then the producer says, just keep saying, keep coming, keep coming. So we walk into the riff-raff room, go past the riff-raff room. She walks us up the steps, and guess where we were? The freaking audience. We were so excited. So the producer leads us to our row, which is like, I think we were like the 3rd row. I think we were like the 3rd row up. I was right behind the producer, so it was me, Pink was behind me, Blue was behind her, and then Tapatio was behind Blue. So we get to our row, the producer stops us. She stops us, and then she personally requests, Pink and I heard her, she says, I want you, meaning me. She wanted me to sit in the seat next to the aisle. And then she wanted Pink to sit right next to me. I guess this is what she was planning all along when she saw us being kind of rowdy in the line. She says that, and then she walks away. I sit in the first seat, and then Pink sits next to me, and Tapatio starts complaining. She starts saying,
can you move down? Can you move down?
And I was like, no, the producer personally told Pink and I our specific spots, and she thought we were lying, but we weren't. So she's like,
why can't you just move down? But
I know she just wanted her time to sit next to the aisle so she can be on camera, blah, blah. But everybody gets on camera anyway. I'll incorporate footage into this so you guys can see that even she was on TV. So she was just making a huge fuss, and Pink and I and Blue were telling her, no, the producer told us to sit there. Everybody but Tapatio heard the producer say that she wanted people to sit in these specific spots, but she did not care. She kept making a fuss. The producer came back, and I asked her again, oh, didn't you say for me to sit here and for Pink to sit here? And she was like, yeah. We all had like an and I moment for her because that was kind of embarrassing. You guys already know she was mad about that, so we sat down in a particular spots, and then she had to go across from us so she can take her seat, and she was huffing and puffing. You could just tell she was salty, but I didn't care. She has to get over it. It wasn't like I was calling the shots or anything. She was just like being difficult. So before every show starts, there's like a pre-show that happens where they turn on the music and they just want everybody to just kind of loosen up and get into the mood of the show. So everybody's dancing, everybody's clapping, you have competitions, some people are brought up on stage. And Pink this time, she was just being crazy as ever, I swear. We had a lot of sugar that day. She was dancing, and usually like the producers go up in the aisle picking people out to dance in the aisle. Pink was lucky enough to get chosen out of our row to dance for everybody, and we're all cheering. It was amazing. She got a t-shirt after, which I actually got. I also got the same free t-shirt, but on my second time there. So she got a t-shirt, everybody was excited, and then the show started. Ellen came out, she did her thing up and down the aisle. You know what she does. She goes up and down the aisle, she greets people, she danced up through the rows. She came up our aisle next to me, and she was literally this close to me, and I was like super starstruck. But what I can say is she's definitely super lively and super energetic, and she looks older in person, but at the same time you can tell her spirit is super energetic and lively, and she just makes you feel good and you get into the mood. Of course, we move on to the interviews. I don't really remember the guests because it was like 6 years ago, but just know it was the blonde girl. There's probably a lot of blonde girls. It was the blonde girl from Days of Our Lives. She came out with a new book called The Sweet Life or something. If I remember her name and what she looked like, I'm gonna insert the picture right now. The second guest was like a nutritionist doctor. He was very Dr. Ozzy, and he came just to promote his book as well. That day was like a promote your book day. Before you go on the show, they don't even tell you who the guests are. So we're just praying that it was somebody we actually knew, but it turned out they weren't really relevant in our lives, but it was still okay because we were having fun. What I can tell you about the show is that you need a lot of energy. The audience does most of the work because we're the ones like getting hyped, dancing. They make us just cheer. By the end of the show, my jaws hurt from smiling and laughing and clapping throughout the whole thing, because during breaks they warm you up, during the show they warm you up. So it's a lot of like the audience rating the energy. That's what makes the show. During the show you have games, you have cheering. It's just a good time. So usually during an Ellen episode, they schedule a performance. Either it's a hip-hop dancer or like a kid that knows geography of the United States and they're like freaking 2 years old. Singer, a dancer, an actor, like some kind of performance. And on this day, Michael Bublé was the main entree. We were super stoked when we found out Michael Bublé was on today's show, because he was the only freaking person we knew that day. Everybody else was like kind of a disappointment, I'm not gonna lie. The song he did, it had just come out. Right now it's a very popular song because it's been like 6 years, but at the time it was like off of his new album, and no one really knew the song. Started off the song in front of the stage, made his way up the aisle.
Let's fire inside.
And luckily he stopped by our aisle. I was super honored, and I was just wilding. I was going crazy. And I guess that's what caught his attention, because he came up to our row and he put his arm around me. You guys, he put his arm around me.
Everything I'll take up my time with thinking about our breakup. Then you've got another thing coming your way.
So I was super nervous, and the whole time you can even hear me in the mic saying, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I was mimicking and trying to mime the song while I was still freaking out. I was singing and dancing with Michael Bublé, but it was funny and I had a good time, even though I was super embarrassed. Funny enough, the day after when the show aired, 2 people actually recognized me, but I totally denied it because I was so embarrassed. They were like, I think I saw you dancing with Michael Bublé, and I was like, oh my god, you did, that wasn't me. Probably might look alike, but I ended up telling them the truth. So let's get to the gifts, because you all know Ellen gives out epic gifts. So at the end of the show we got 2 books from the lady from Days of Our Lives and the the health doctor person, nutritionist, whatever. We got 2 books from him, and lucky enough, we got Michael Bublé's new album. That's why he performed, obviously. And also Ellen had a big surprise for us. Can you guess what it was? Oh wait, she announced that everybody in that particular audience was invited for 12 days of giveaway back in December. When she made that announcement, you guys, everybody was going crazy. Like, I think Pink was crying, Blue was crying. I couldn't cry on spot, but I was crying inside. I was just like, yeah, we get to come back a second time. Yeah, we get to come back in December. Blah. So that was my first experience at Ellen, and I was so stoked to come back in December. Let's fast forward to December. So Pink, Blue, Tapatio and I went back for a second time. We're super excited. I think we're more excited the second time because we know it was 12 days of giveaways, and basically 12 days of giveaways is when Ellen gives out free gifts, money, whatever, for 12 days in a row, and you never know what you're gonna get. You just know you're gonna get something good. And even they tell you to bring a big car in case Ellen gives out like a big ass TV, and even they tell you to bring a bigger car in case Ellen gives out a big TV or a car, something big. You're pre-warned because you never know what the gifts are, and you never know who the guests are. You just never know. Everything is a surprise, and I think that's what makes it most exciting. So it was back to business as the first time. We got there super early, checked in, went about our business, ate lunch. I think we went to like Bob's Burgers, came back at 3:30, got in line. Okay, this time our experience in line was different. You guys will never believe me. Like the last time, Pink and I were being super extra, and of course we caught the attention of the producers because they're always keeping an eye out. They do that so that during the show, if there's a game, they can always call you by surprise to participate in one of the games, so you never know who's watching. So Pink and I were just being our regular goofy selves. We were not even thinking about like what the producers are gonna think. We're just always like this. So this time a producer noticed us again, and she picked us out of our group. So Pink and I were like, what's happening? So she picks us out of our group, and she leads us to the parking lot. I know it sounds super sketch, and we were super scared too. We're like, what is happening? Where are we going? But she had a badge on. It was cool. So we follow her, and we get to the parking lot space. It's like in the back. We get to that space, and we see other women also lined up like that in line, and we're like asking her, we're like, what's going on? Why are we here? We're all lined up in the parking lot, and then the producer starts splitting that line into groups. So each group was led into these specific bungalows. It was like a group of like, let's say 10 to 15 women. We were all led into these bungalows, and we all went in there, and we were told to sit down and wait. Pink and I and all the other ladies were looking super confused. We were like, why are we in this like little bungalow or whatever? Like it was like a small hut or whatever. And then the producer comes in. So in the bungalow, they made us do all these energy hype exercises, like clapping and hooting and just like getting wild. It was just all to raise our like vibration or whatever. Like we didn't even know what it was for, but we were just like, let's just roll with the punches. That encounter lasted what, like 5-10 minutes, and then Pink and I and the rest of the women were sent back to the main line to get ready for the show. So we get back to the show, we tell the rest what we just been through. They're like in disbelief, and we're in disbelief. We're like, we didn't even know that people do that. But it was just for them to start grooming us in case they call us out to participate in the games at any particular time during the show. It was just to keep our vibration, our energy super high. So we get back into the line, super hyped. We didn't really know what the heck that was, but we were super excited. And finally, it was freaking showtime. Like the other time, we got in line, led into the building, went past the riffraff room, and today we actually secured a spot. A round of applause, yeah! We don't have to worry about the waiting list or the riffraff room. We actually had our own seats with our own tickets, with our own names on it. It was beautiful. Coincidentally, we sat in the same row that we sat in the first time, and the producer did request for Pink and I to sit in those same seats. It was all the same, and guess what? Tapatio still made a fuss that day too, and she was super salty, just like the last time. But it's like, hey, I don't make the rules. Pink and I don't make the rules. That's what the producer said, and that's why we were picked out, because we weren't just dead fish during the line. I wasn't here for her to get me down. Like, get over it. It's just to see. You're gonna be on camera too. Tapatio, if you're watching this, you know who you are. Can't really remember who the guests were again. I'll look it up and I'll insert them here. So this time, just like Pink had the chance to dance in the aisle and get a free t-shirt, so did I. I was so happy. If I can find a clip of me dancing, if they posted it, I'm gonna insert the footage here. But yeah, I got a free t-shirt. So the show was business as usual, like the first time. There's a lot of games, a lot of cheering, a lot of hyping up. It was such a good time. The energy was beautiful. For one of the breaks, I remember the producer came to my row and she asked me what my name was and where I had come from that particular day. And I told her, oh, my name's Agnes. I came from so-and-so city. And she wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I was like, oh my gosh, is she gonna call me up for a game? I was just waiting to be called up there, but they didn't. So by the end of the show, I know you guys are anxious to know what we got. You guys, Ellen was freaking Santa Claus that day. Ellen gifted us with a $1,500 Target gift card and a $200 American Express gift card as well. And I was so happy and so grateful, because that's gas money. Yeah, that $1,500 Target gift card, I made sure it lasted me as long as it could. I think it lasted me for like 2 years. I used most of it on like groceries and clothes, things that I needed. I think I bought some electronics. Like, it was such a good experience, you guys. And 2 weeks later, the Ellen team actually contacted me. They called me on my phone and they asked me if I would be interested to come back as an audience member. They're like, oh, we'll keep you in mind, Agnes, the next time we need you. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, if I go to Ellen the 3rd or 4th time, I'm gonna throw up. But they never did. Oh, I was just so happy that they actually knew I existed. So yeah, that's my story. If you like this story time, please give it a thumbs up. Comment what you thought about it in the comment section down below. Let me know if you've been to the Ellen show and how your experience was. If you're new here, welcome to the family. If you're coming back, thank you so much for coming back. I'll see you next time. Bye.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'ma give you something, make you wanna come back. If you show me what you need, then I'll never go in